You know, it's really hard imagining how things were a decade ago, isn't it? After all, up until about this time 2 years ago, everyone seemed to think Capcom didn't care at all about Mega Man or his fans, especially after Keiichi Inafune left Capcom back in 2010, and that's why they weren't making any more games for him. But back in 2008, it seemed like Capcom wasn't making any more Mega Man games, not because they didn't like Mega Man, but because they were pretty much well and truly finished with all the stories they made for things like Mega Man X, Battle Network, and of course, the Classic series. Then, when they announced that they would be making Mega Man 9, everyone was not only surprised, but ecstatic. It also helped that they released it at probably the perfect time. With so many indie games that were using retro-style graphics at the time, and the years following, game consoles having digital storefronts where you could buy classic games, and the beginning of the "games are way too easy, not like when they were on the NES" movement starting up, nostalgia for older games was becoming rampant. So when a franchise like Classic Series Mega Man is coming back, and in its old 8-bit style, you can bet people were ready to buy it. They even released some of the game codes for the game in old NES like, "this box art doesn't reflect what's in the game at all" style boxes. Amazingly, however, this game was almost not made in the first place. Inafune was worried that releasing Mega Man 9 in the same vein as the older games would only appeal to old school fans, and was even considering ideas like having the game be in 3D or having the ability to switch the graphics from an 8-bit style to the newer generation style. But the team eventually won out with using old school graphics. Speaking of, the game was actually developed by Inti Creates, a company that's been around since the very late 90s and consists mostly of former Capcom staff. They've helped with work on the Zero series, the ZX games, and have since gone on to create their own franchise in the form of the Gunvolt series. So these people knew what they were doing when it came to making the game. But how is the game exactly? Well, let's take a look and find out. So Mega Man 9 begins with a still image of Wily doing what he always does, groveling for forgiveness after being defeated by Mega Man. Since then, things have been pretty normal in Mega Man's world, but then suddenly robots start attacking. Mega Man and Dr. Light are watching the news to find something even more surprising. Chun-Li is the news anchor on TV! Oh, and that all the robots are actually Dr. Light's creations, but mostly Chun-Li is a news anchor!
Dr. Light, it's your robots!
You're right. Those are the robots I created.
Suddenly, Dr. Wily appears on TV, interrupting the broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was not my doing. These robots are Dr. Light's creation. This proves that he has had evil desires on the world all this time.
Then Dr. Wily shows a tape of him and Light talking.
It's time I turn my efforts to world domination. Why don't you join me, Dr. Wily?
I can't join you. I've changed my evil ways. You need to stop this nonsense.
Wily shares his Swiss bank account number, saying he's made his own robots, but only the donations from the people can help him finish making them. By the way, I love how Dr. Wily's Swiss bank account number is actually a reference to the original release date of the first game. That's a nice touch. Still, people seem to believe Wily as they start calling Dr. Light's lab.
We got another call. The phone is ringing off the hook.
Aw, poor Eddie. He's been reduced to being a desk.
People keep calling Dr. Light to complain. What should we do?
For starters, I'm gonna do something about those robots.
Oh yeah, Mega Man's back, baby!
Thanks, Mega Man. Be careful out there. You haven't done this in a while.
And that's our setup for Mega Man 9. 8 robot masters of Dr. Light's creation have gone haywire, and we've got to stop them. Admittedly, this could be seen as rather been there, done that, but the story isn't going to stay so simple for very long. So, we're once again back to choosing to go to one of 8 levels. None of them are split up. We don't have to beat anyone first to go to another. We can choose where to start right from the beginning. So of course, we're going to start with Concrete Man, who is yet again another robot based on Guts Man. But at least it makes sense here since, you know, he's meant to help with making cement. Concrete Man stage is pretty interesting as it's a literal concrete jungle. There's jungle-like terrain in the background, including waterfalls that obscure where you are, but almost all of the terrain you can walk on is concrete. There are also plenty of wildlife robots around, including these mini-bosses called Peyozos. They roll these giant balls at you and then suck the balls back with their trunk, while also trying to pull you towards them as a result. The first one is easy to beat, as you can sit on this ladder and snipe at it. The second elephant is a bit tougher, as it bounces a green ball rather than rolling a red one, but it's not too difficult. The last one can be rather tricky, as it has gaps in the floor, and it also rolls a red ball, but keep your wits about you and you'll beat it. I should also mention that gameplay has changed a bit from the previous classic games. Remember how Dr. Light said Mega Man hasn't done this in a while? Well, he wasn't kidding about that, as Mega Man can't slide or charge up his buster. Yep, he's back to the good old lemon shooter. But there are still screws you can use to buy E-Tanks, W-Tanks, extra lives, and some other nifty bonuses, including the energy balancer. Pretty handy stuff, that. Concrete Man himself can be a bit tough without his weakness. His main attack involves shooting concrete at you that you can only escape from by moving back and forth. You can also be freed by having Concrete Man run into you, but that damages you even more. But he's not too tough, and as a result of beating him, you get the Concrete Shot, which shoots a blob of concrete. If it destroys an enemy or hits a wall or the floor, you'll create a block of cement which you can stand on, but be careful because it can crumble beneath you. If it hits an enemy and doesn't kill them, it'll surround them in concrete, freezing them much like the Ice Slasher did. So it's a pretty good weapon, but an even better utility. After you beat your first Robot Master in the game, Mega Man returns to the lab to find out that Dr. Light has been arrested.
Dr. Light would never try to take over the world. This is definitely Wily's doing.
Without a doubt. Don't worry, I'll clear Dr. Light's name.
Well, good to know our hero is smart in this game. Anyway, the Concrete Shot is really helpful against our next Robot Master, Galaxy Man. Oh hey look, he's a little UFO, that's pretty cute. Galaxy Man's stage is really cool. There are these long horizontal platforms you can walk on, and when you get to a certain point, these Bun-Bee catchers that look like the Sky Claws from the original Mega Man X will grab you and try to force you to the right, usually with spikes either in the ground or at the end of the path. There's also these teleporter pads you can go into that'll warp you around, and you can use them to jump from location to location. It's a lot of fun. Galaxy Man himself is pretty easy to beat. He'll try to fly into you in a way that makes you have to jump over him, and when he flies to the top of the screen, he'll send out this weird object that becomes a black hole that tries to pull you in. Fortunately, the Concrete Shot will freeze it and keep it from pulling you in, and can also damage him too. Beating him gets you probably the best weapon in the game, the Black Hole Bomb. This is the only weapon in the series to have the weapon name be 3 words long, and it needs all 3 of those words just for how freaking amazing it is. Firing it works much like how it did with Galaxy Man himself. You create a slow-moving projectile that you can control the trajectory of. Then, when you fire the weapon again, every enemy and their attacks will be sucked in if they get too close. And this works regardless of how healthy they are or how big they are. Even if they're not in range to get sucked in, they can still be damaged by it if they're close enough. This is also really helpful when fighting our next opponent, Jewel Man. His stage is a large mine with one particular gimmick in it, these little swinging platforms. Depending on how you adjust your weight, they'll swing in a certain direction, and in some cases, you'll need to pull off some rather risky maneuvers like this. There's also this boulder mini-boss, Stonehead. He'll cause boulders to fall on you, and when he falls, he'll stun you like Gutsman would do. Then he'll climb up the wall, and you can use the dust to see which boulder he's going to be hiding in. Jewel Man himself is actually pretty easy when you use the Black Hole Bomb. He'll jump whenever you do, and his gems will be sucked up, leaving him exposed. If you don't fight him with the Black Hole Bomb, you have to deal with trying to dodge his shield. Speaking of, we get arguably the best shield weapon in the entire series from Jewel Man, the Jewel Satellite, a set of 4 gems that circle around you. They reflect any and all projectiles back to the person that fired them, and if you run into an enemy with them, depending on the enemy, the shield will actually stay up. Next up we've got Plugman, who might be the only Robot Master here that I would consider bad, but I just think he's okay. His stage is the Yoku Block stage of the game, which can be annoying, but even more annoying are these shadow areas. If you go past them, a Shadow Mega Man will run toward you, trying to tag you to deal damage. There are also these weird looking tellies that'll spawn, but thankfully the Black Hole Bomb takes care of them. Plugman himself just likes to jump around and attack you with his electric attack, but you can just deflect it with the Jewel Satellite. Keep hitting him with Jewel Satellite, and it'll go down in the same amount of uses of it. His weapon, the Plug Ball, is a pretty decent ground-based weapon, working with a similar vein to the Search Snake, only it's a ball of lightning, and it can travel on the ceiling. I play a clip of Lionel Richie's dancing on the ceiling, but copyright. After dealing with the fourth Robot Master, we find out something rather important about the robots we're dealing with.
That robot's period of use had expired, and it was scheduled to be scrapped.
I feel bad for those robots, but their expiration dates are decided by law.
They were supposed to be scrapped? So why are they going crazy?
Well, gee, Mega Man, why would somebody be going insane if they knew they were about to die because the law said they're supposed to be killed? Seriously, that's one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard, and this was the same character that asked if the Slash Claw cuts things apart. Anyway, next on the list comes Tornado Man, whose stage music was actually used in the trailer for Mega Man 9. He's also the coolest designed Robot Master for the game, in my opinion. His stage, on the other hand, can be a bit on the annoying side. His main gimmick is these platforms that Mega Man rides on. He can be flipped upside down, but if you jump while Mega Man's upside down, he falls from the platform. And on top of that, we've got precariously placed spikes. Granted, this stage isn't unfair. If you die, it's completely your fault, but it's just annoying. Tornado Man himself can be a bit frustrating to fight if you're not careful. His main attack involves creating these green tornadoes that make you jump higher while he has spikes at the top of his room. Fortunately, it's easy to get rid of him thanks to the plug ball, especially when he hangs out near the ceiling. Beat Tornado Man, and you'll get the Tornado Blow. And yeah, go ahead and get your inappropriate jokes out of the way now. Anyway, Tornado Blow is our screen nuke attack, damaging any enemy on screen, while also increasing your jump height. This makes it a pretty useful attack and utility, but you have to be wary of how many shots you have, as well as the fact that killing an enemy with this thing, much like with the gravity hold, doesn't make them drop any items like health or energy pickups. Also, after defeating your fifth Robot Master, you get access to Rush Jet, along with a scene of poor Roll flying through the air at high speeds.
I'll try to slow him down a bit.
Next up on our list of robots we need to stop is the one we saw in the news report, Magma Man. His stage is of course the fire level, complete with magma. The major gimmick in this one is that there are some rooms that have these magma dispensers that are instant death if they touch you. You can actually freeze the magma with Concrete Shot, but it gives you plenty of time to run underneath them, and we don't really have anything to get rid of the frozen magma yet anyway. Also, if you get close enough to the magma without touching it, there's a cool little visual effect on Mega Man to go with it. You also have to fight this thing, the Chanky Dragon, but the Black Hole Bomb makes quick and easy work of it. Magma Man himself isn't that difficult with the Tornado Blow. In fact, when I first played this game on the Wii, I beat the challenge Quick Draw M, which is the challenge for beating Magma Man in under a minute, when I first fought him. Yeah, the original versions of the game had challenges, or achievements and trophies, on the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game respectively, and those challenges are still in Legacy Collection 2 for you to attempt. Beating Magma Man earns us the Magma Bazooka, which fires 3 shots, one forward, and one in each forward diagonal direction, all at the same time. It's actually somewhat energy efficient, but what's more is that you can actually charge it. The charge is really quick, and it doesn't use up a ton of energy despite having the exact same charge-up sound as the Atomic Fire from Mega Man 2. Why is the Atomic Fire just the worst charge weapon in the series? Well, besides Charge Kick, but you know what I mean. Next stage, Hornet Man's. Hornet Man's stage is pretty simple. The only real gimmick is these platforms that extend and then retract when you shoot them, and you'll often need to use them to navigate certain parts of the stage. There's also Hana Biron, who is on a clock pattern set of platforms while a hand of thorny flowers rotates around. Just hit it once and it'll go away and then pop up somewhere else. It's a bit frustrating, but not too difficult. Hornet Man himself was pretty easy. He'll summon forth 3 bees, which are in the perfect pattern for you to hit with the Magma Bazooka. Otherwise, they take a really long time to get rid of each of them, and they home in on you about 3 or 4 times. Beat Hornet Man, and you'll get the Hornet Chaser. This lets you shoot out bees that will home in on enemies, as well as grab items like extra lives or energy. Aw, what a good little set of bees. The only thing they can't pick up are the things like energy tanks, which I guess makes sense. Okay, on to the final Robot Master of the group, Splash... Woman? Yup, for the first time in the series we have an honest-to-goodness female Robot Master. There have been female robots in the past in the classic series, like Plum from Battle and Chase and, of course, Roll, but they vary if you were to call them Robot Masters. Personally, I think they should be, but Splash Woman is the first one to actually put up a fight. Originally, however, Hornet Man was going to be the first female Robot Master, known as Honey Woman, while Splash Woman was going to be known as Ocean Man, and that's yet another song I can't play as a reference because copyright issues. I mean, it makes sense considering Queen and Worker Bees are typically female, but I think Splash Woman is a better choice. Besides, the original design for Ocean Man made him look a little too much like Neptune. And yes, I know that she and Tornado Man look like Fairy Leviathan and Sage Harpooia from the Mega Man Zero series. You don't need to remind me of that, but at least that's a different series in the franchise altogether. Anyway, Splash Woman stage is probably the best water level in the classic series. It's pretty wide open, there's no annoying mini-boss, and the use of death spikes feels rather minimal compared to other stages. The stage also borrows the bubbles from Wave Man stage, and has these water container platforms that you have to jump across to get up to some of the ladders. Also, these Octonay enemies can actually ink you and turn your armor black, and it actually makes the armor of the 1-ups turn black as well, with the only way to get the ink off being to pause the game. I think that's a pretty nice touch. Splash Woman herself is relatively easy, especially with her weakness. She takes 2 points of damage from the Mega Buster, but she also will tend to stay out of the way of your shots more than others, so I can see why she takes damage so easily. She's also allergic to the Hornet Chaser, since the things can home in on her even when she's at the top of the screen and firing FRICKING lasers down on your head! Speaking of, beating Splash Woman gets you the Laser Trident, which is a great attack. It can pierce through enemy shields and uses very little weapon energy, making it a really fun tool to use. Defeating the last Robot Master causes them to drop this blue object, so we, of course, take it to the lab.
This is the memory circuit board!
We can play back her memory to see why she went crazy.
Yes, I know, the game says he, even if the last Robot Master you defeat is Splash Woman.
I'll put it on the screen.
The screen then shows all of the Robot Masters, save for the one you defeated last, talking to... well... who else?
So what are you trying to say?
I'm saying you're all going to end up in the junkyard.
Of course. When we're done with our work, that's what happens.
It's not just you. Millions of robots all over the world are lining up as piles of junk. You work hard for humans, and then they destroy you when you're no longer needed. Doesn't that make you angry? Just because you've reached some arbitrary expiration date doesn't mean you need to be scrapped. You're all still quite useful. You have a right to live. I'm going to help you. Together, we'll show the world how useful you still can be.
Perhaps you're right. We still want to be of use to people. Can you repair us?
I'd be glad to. You're in good hands with me.
You know, I never noticed how much Dr. Wily's artwork accentuates the area around his eyebrows. I guess that's what happens when you do so much eyebrow wiggling.
It was Wily all along.
All of a sudden, the power then goes out as Wily's capsule comes in and takes the memory circuit board, and thus the proof that he was behind everything.
Yoink!
Well, time to go after Wily. Again. The first stage of Wily Castle is pretty simple. It requires use of your special weapons, though some of the places where you need to use the weapons make using them optional. First, you have these special platforms that require you to use the Tornado Blow to lift them up. Then you have to fight the Chanky Dragon again, which, as I said, goes down pretty easily using the Black Hole Bomb. The screen afterwards gives you this 1-up that's too high to reach with Rush, so to get it, you need to use the Hornet Chaser. Then after that is this rather annoying section, where you have to use the concrete shot to freeze magma dispensers so you can walk on them. And this section is annoying because you have to time it very carefully and then run across, and if you mistime it, you're getting insta-killed. Doing this properly took me a long time, at least with the original recording. Then you have to use Rush Jet to get across this bed of spikes, and at the end of the level are these 4 spike pushers, and if they get their spike balls all the way to the end, they switch to an attack they can fire directly towards you. You have to push each spike ball back in order to destroy each of them. Destroy enough of them, and you win. Stage 2 is pretty simple, with one of the coolest Wily stage themes ever. Man, no wonder they made a remixed version of this song in Smash Ultimate. Anyway, this stage's major gimmick is that these illusion enemies will come in and create fake platforms to get you to land on or jump into spikes. It's annoying, but not really a problem with Rush Jet. You also have to fight Hanabiron in this level. Then, after a section where you have to go through a water level and a long climb up, you fight the boss, Mega Mech Shark. It's actually a 3-phase boss fight where you have to fight the tail end first, which shoots missiles, then the midsection, which drops enemies and can hurt you if you jump, and then the head, which has a jaw that opens up and fires lasers. It's a pretty easy fight with Robot Master weapons. Then there's Stage 3, which can be rather annoying. There are 2 sections that like to have spikes and these petite devils from Galaxy Man stage while you're lifted upward, and you can only control which way you go and how fast by shooting in a certain direction. Other than that, it's just fighting enemies and careful platforming around spikes. Nothing more, nothing less. There are also these enemies that try to trick you into thinking they're 1-ups, but they're actually mets in disguise. You've betrayed me, 1-ups! Then there's the boss, Twin Devil. This thing can be a pain, as all devil bosses can be. This one has only one weak spot, of course, its eye. The eye will only come out of the green devil at a certain point, and it's most vulnerable to the black hole bomb, but even using the black hole bomb is annoying because it can usually only be hurt once, with some rare instances in which it can be hurt twice, but it's still annoying. Stage 4 requires you to use the concrete shot. A lot. You need to block these lasers in order to cross them without getting hurt. Or, if you want to, you can just tank getting hit in the face and run through them with invincibility frames, especially if you want to conserve concrete shot, and you definitely will. And then of course, you fight the 8 Robot Masters in a rematch, and then you fight the Wily Machine, which in this game is actually a dinosaur robot. This fight can be somewhat annoying. For the first phase, you need to send the eggs that Wily Machine 9 shoots out back at the jaw of the Wily Machine, and the Wily Machine likes to move while it does this, making the arc of the eggs bounce kind of weird. Magma Bazooka can be pretty useful here, however, thanks to the angle of the shots. Then, in Stage 2, you need to gunk up the machine where its mouth is with concrete shot, and this is why tanking those lasers is a good idea. But the machine will also try to crush you, or burn you with a flamethrower attack. And then there's the Wily Capsule, which requires you to use the plug ball to weaken it. That wouldn't be such a problem if there were walls and if the Wily Capsule stayed on the ground, but you often have to do jumps that seem pretty risky if you want to hit the Wily Capsule with this thing. It's very awkward, but with plenty of E-tanks, the fight is finally over. Wily gets flung out of the capsule and begins begging for mercy. That's when Rush comes in. Oh, and look, a cameo from base.
This is where you first went wrong. Then this time, and 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 this time.
I love how the game references the previous 8 console games, and I think that's supposed to be Mega Man and base on the last one, given the floor's design.
You beat me again, Mega Man. I should tell you there's something I was hiding from you. Dr. Light was taken away by the police, was he not? That wasn't a real officer. It was a fake police bot I created. Dr. Light's in the next room, but he fell ill, so he's sleeping now. You have to hurry and get him to the hospital. This way!
We then see Dr. Light lying down in a cage, and Mega Man runs over to him, but then suddenly Proto Man teleports in.
You're a fool, Mega Man. It's a trap. That's the Dr. Light robot Wily used to make that fake video.
It may be, but if that's the real Dr. Light, then I have to help him.
Naive as always. Do what you want then.
So Mega Man goes to help Dr. Light, and it turns out that Proto Man was right as the robot electrocutes Mega Man.
So long, Mega Chump! You will be destroyed along with this castle.
Mega Man is still conscious, but he can't move.
I'm glad that wasn't Dr. Light, but that poor robot.
Looks like you need my help. Again.
And so, thanks to Mega Man foiling Dr. Wily's schemes, Light was found innocent and got to return home. Wily was never found, because of course he wasn't, but the world was still saved. I don't think I said it, but I absolutely love Mega Man 9. It's easily my favorite game in the franchise, with the only other game coming close being the original Mega Man X. It's not a flawless game, but it's got plenty of great level design elements. There aren't really any weapons or robot masters in this group that I would say I don't like, and in fact, there's a lot of them that I love. The Back to Basics design was a wonderful choice, and I didn't even mention the other bonus content besides challenges. There's also a completely new stage in Time Attack mode where you can fight Fake Man, or Endless mode, where you can go through several small rooms, some of which are actually remade versions of rooms from older games in the series, and try to get a high score of the number of screens you reach. It's a fun game, and well worth the price, though not possible to get in its original versions anymore. Fortunately, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 is available for all current consoles, as well as being put on PC. Well folks, we've got 2 games left, and the next one, well, it's a bit of a doozy, but we'll talk about that next time as we treat ourselves with Mega Man 10.
That's the 16th time Mega Man has defeated me. Every time I think I come up with another plan to take over the world, he defeats me again and again. I'm sick of this every time. Sick? I think I have an idea, but I'll need to resort to an old power. This energy source. It's helped me before, and it can help me again.